You are going to see fragments from the lesson on the yes-no technology of the thinking approach with Year 11 learners. The students are 17-18 years old and they have worked with the TA for a year and a half. The lesson is conducted by the guest teacher who has previously seen the learners but never worked with them. The aim of the lesson is to draw students' attention to the importance of the strategy when solving a problem and to let students experience difficulties involved in both developing the strategy and keeping to it. Several features of a good strategy are defined during the lesson. The lesson can also be seen as an example of organizing a yes-no training in the classroom.
First question, because I have a very vague idea about who you are and what I may expect and what you may expect. My first question to you is, what do you think is the point of playing a yes-no game with you?
I think it is to ask as good questions, as you can understand what I ask, and I will understand what you загадал.
You will understand what I thought about.
Yes.
Okay? So one idea, any other ideas why we...
We can learn how to formulate our ideas.
You will learn how to formulate your ideas, okay? Anything else?
Maybe to create the shortest way how to achieve the aim of maybe...
Basically, you're right. So the idea, one of the ideas of yes-no games in the context of the thinking approach is to deal with problem solving and things related to problem solving. And one of the ideas of problem solving is getting at a solution at a minimum cost. Well, that's in general. I mean, we want to spend as little as possible and get as much as possible. That's pretty much true about most of the things we do. Now, what do you already know? How do you get to a solution, if we speak about yes-no games, as fast as possible? What's the strategy?
First of all, we need to know in general what is it. Is it if we are talking about what we are talking about, like is it a person or is it something we cannot touch, even just?
What the strategy? You don't know yet, but what is your general approach?
I think that we have to ask as precise questions as it is possible, because sometimes answers to the general questions are not very useful.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we must start with common questions about this thing, and then to come to specific questions about this. So divide it in some common and specific problems.
Okay, let's take the simplest possible yes-no game, and now our idea is to clarify the strategy. So what I want you to do when we reach the end, and I hope we'll reach it pretty fast, is to go back to the question I've just asked and clarify the strategy. So we're interested in a strategy for getting at a solution as fast as possible. Okay? The simplest yes-no game possible is a yes-no game on guessing a number. Okay? Have you ever played it? Okay, let's try. So I thought of a number from 0 to 1000. Your task is to guess a number by asking as few questions as possible.
Do the digits?
No.
No?
Next question. 2 digits. So numbers from 0 to 1000 may have 1 digit, 2 digits, 3 digits, and 4 digits. At least one of them has 4 digits. Okay, no.
Are there less than 3 digits?
Are there less than 3 digits? No. Next question.
So does it have numbers of our year, this year? So.
Yes. Next question.
Does this number contain 0?
No.
So what is it?
Next question.
Is there double digits in this number?
What exactly do you mean by double digit?
Two numbers with
Two same digits. digits?
No.
No?
Okay, you asked 5 questions. Can I ask you to summarize what you found out?
It doesn't contain 0. There are no two equal numbers. There are more than 3 numbers, as I heard.
There are 3.
But he said it's less, not less than.
Not less than two.
Not less than 3 numbers. Sorry. And there are, as we understood, some numbers from our year.
So it is 2 and 1. Or 2 or 1.
My next question is, how well do you think you've been doing so far? How many numbers have you excluded? About 200 numbers you excluded.
Yes.
So how well do you think you've been doing?
Not really well, I think.
Well, let's call it a powerful question. So, can you define what makes a good question or a powerful question in comparison to another question? Yes. How do you know if it's a good question?
So the question which answer on many questions, our questions.
The question which answers many questions. Not very clear.
So powerful question. So we can get from this question many answers.
And what kind of question helps you get many answers? Yeah.
Maybe it is a question which makes us closer to our aim, so to your number and so on. Zero.
Yeah, but many questions get you closer. How do you know which of them is the best or the most powerful question?
Which excludes maybe as more variance as it is possible.
Okay, so a powerful question is the one that eliminates as many possibilities, as many as possible. What is the maximum? So you look at all possible answers. In this particular case, it's 1000. What is the maximum you can exclude?
999. No?
199.
No, 999.
999. So the best question will be the question that excludes 999.
It's unreal to find such a question.
To
I
guess.
think so.
What is it?
It is only to guess this number.
Yeah, but if you guess the number, then if you're lucky, you exclude 999. If you're unlucky, you exclude 1. Now, we need a strategy. So the strategy should not depend on your luck. Now, what is the maximum number of possibilities you can eliminate? Yeah,
500, yes.
500. Yeah, why 500?
No, pair and not pair number.
Okay, do you understand why 500 is the maximum? So 500 or 50%. So a powerful question is the one that excludes 50%.
More than 500.
Is it more than 500? No. No?
Is this number less than 300?
No.
Why is it more than 400?
No. Okay, so let's summarize together. What do you know?
Oh, we have it. I
We
think
know the
now we.
It is
It's
an
not
odd.
You know it's an odd number? What else do you know?
Good.
It's an odd number?
It's from 300 till 400.
And it
Yes,
doesn't
it's-
contain 0.
It doesn't contain zeros.
And contains 2 or 1.
It contains 2 or 1.
Does it?
And two is not on the last place
And
of the
2
number.
is not the last digit.
Yes, one.
Sure.
And it couldn't be the first one because we have period, so 2 is the second digit.
Because now when you summarize some of the things you found out and some of the things you didn't find out yet.
We haven't asked about is it 2 or 1?
True. You know, it's either 2 or 1,
Yes.
but you don't know which one.
Yes, which number? Does it contain 1?
Does it contain 1? Yes.
So
So the
Three,
digit
one.
is 3, 2, 1, 321.
Do you want to ask me about a specific number?
The number contains only 2 or 1, as I understand.
Yes, and it
It's
contains
one.
1, as I understand. So
three,
the last
and the last
place
number
can
we
be
have to
1.
guess. 3, 1, and we have to guess the last
Uh-huh.
one.
Yes. No, maybe 1 can
Maybe
be
one-
that
one
3,
can
1.
On different.
3, 1 or 3, 1.
Uh-huh.
So is this digit less than 320?
The number, you mean?
The number.
Is the number less than 320? No.
No.
So
the
it's-
first is the last digit. 3, 1.
1.
Okay.
Um,
Next question.
So we have left 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 numbers.
have 3 because
They don't
Ah, yes, okay.
So 4.
It's
From 4.
from
Why
4 to
can't we
9.
have 3?
Because
Some-
there are no double
no
numbers.
double.
Okay. Next question.
So they can do.
Could you please write the first and the last one?
Because it will
be
be easier.
It is again
Okay.
4.
You know that the first is 3,
6 numbers are left.
and you know that the last is 1, right? Okay.
The number in the middle is what?
Yes, it is.
It is odd. Okay.
What?
5, 7, 9. 5, 7, 9.
5, 7,
5, 7, 9. A lot.
14?
Yeah.
14.
Now, how well do you think you've been doing?
Not so good because the first part there were 6 questions we could make.
Like a mess.
One.
Like a
How
rubbish.
many, how many questions should you have asked if you had been keeping to the strategy from the very beginning?
About 10 maybe a bit.
10. 10 questions, if you keep to the strategy, will always bring you to the answer. Now, let's try to see if we can follow the strategy. Okay? Now remember, our aim now is to follow the strategy. So I want you to guess an object in this room. Now, before we start, I very much advise that we discuss the strategy. So what are your suggestions?
The first suggestion I have, we can divide the room to the 2 parts. So about, for example, if there is a 1 part, for example, here is a line of the room. and-
Like this.
Or,
Okay,
or like this,
wonderful.
whatever.
All your questions you're going to ask me should be questions about parameter location. That's the parameter you're interested in. Okay, let's take location. So all questions you ask should be questions about location. Okay? And we'll try to see how well we're doing. This is our room, and we will be dividing it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, when we're entering, this is the right part of the class, and this one is the left one. No, from that side. So is this thing is located in the right part of the class?
So, who is asking the question?
How it went down. So
Let
let's.
it way like that. and-
Yeah, like till up to.
No, so here,
Okay, so
So
we draw
this-
an imaginary line.
right here,
Yeah,
right
here.
That's
Yes.
first part, that's second.
Okay, it's in the first part.
First.
Okay, so how much have
First-
we eliminated? 50%, yeah? Okay. 50% were eliminated, 2 questions were asked. So, what the question?
Is that object placed on located on the cupboard?
Is it? No.
It's not.
They can be a
Now, how many possibilities have we eliminated?
Hello.
A lot is not a precise answer. Can I have a numeric value, please? You think by asking if it's located somewhere in the...
No,
you eliminated how much?
About maybe
65.
no, not maybe about 20, I think 30 maybe. Because there is a lot of things.
Now, I want to draw your attention to the fact that the moment you can't agree on how much you eliminated is usually a sign of something going wrong with your strategy. So, a good question is the one where it's clear to everyone that you eliminate 50%. Like it was with dividing the numeric line, like it was with dividing the rule, so keep it in mind when you go on. Okay, 3 questions asked.
Is this thing in the part where sits Ernest and Arthur or where sits Eric? So like this.
Okay, we draw a line like this.
Like this.
So it's in this part of the room.
In this,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sasha,
And there is no.
there is one more.
How much have we excluded?
50%.
50%. Okay.
And the cup.
I want to draw your attention to, judging by what has been going on so far. First, you have to think when you divide not only about one question, but several questions. Because when you divide it into even and odd, that was very nice, 50%, but you had a problem with the next question. So the strategy should allow you to divide continuously. Another thing which is usually difficult when you solve problems is something we call mental inertia. When we imagine something to be like this, but in fact it isn't. So with a number game it happened when you assume that there should be, for example, 2 rather than either 1 or 2. When you're playing object there may also be something you assume, but it isn't.
Is this thing located in the area of the 1 meter circle around the Eric? Okay, so
How much have we excluded? Now I'm interested in percentage.
50,
You
maybe.
think 50?
Maybe more.
It's not 50 because about the area, maybe about the 50, but yeah, about the things which are located. So we have excluded much less, in fact, because there is only 3 maybe basic objects, but these are no.
Can I ask what you call basic objects?
No, not basic. The possible objects. Possible objects we.
So how much should I put here? How much have you excluded? Because remember, we are interested in the strategy.
By the area we have excluded about 50%.
Yes.
We have.
But are we interested in area or in object?
Well,
But not
if there is
Are you
no-
looking for area or are you looking for an object?
25%.
30.
Okay, a little bit less.
Little bit, yeah, maybe like that.
Okay? There is the next question. So, is this thing on the table? The answer is no.
Maybe
How much?
60, about 60.
You think we excluded about 60%?
I think yes, because there is much less things under the table.
Okay, I'll put down 60%, but I will also put a question mark. We'll come back to it later.
we ask about the ground, so there is a chair and the bag. And so we have Eric's clothes and... okay. Is this thing located on the floor?
No.
So we have system block on the computer.
How much have we excluded?
Not a lot.
Not a lot is how much?
25%.
Okay, about 20-25, okay.
No,
Okay,
that's about vacation.
Yeah.
Is this object located on Eric?
No.
So we have system block.
How much have you excluded?
More than 50, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we can...
Okay, let's ask the question about computer, no?
So?
Is it a system block?
No. How much do you think you've excluded?
1%.
Now, what do you know? Can you summarize?
Okay, then I know that it's somewhere around the area, close to area.
It's not on the ground.
It's within 1 meter.
Yeah.
Close is not clear, but within 1 meter it's clear.
It's
Okay, it's within 1 meter from Eric.
It's
What
not
else
his
do you
clothes.
It's not his clothes.
It's not on the ground.
It's not on the
It's
ground.
not on the table.
It's not on the table.
It's like a system block.
It's not a system block, no.
You stand too close to him, maybe it's something which is located to you.
Maybe.
Yes, no, it's located to
Yes, it's located on me.
It was the question, it is not on the table, but it could be higher than a table,
Yes.
than a table level. Then I would divide like that.
Yes, like that.
We divide it like that?
It's like that.
Like that, yeah.
So it's the upper. It's
The upper
it's higher
It's
than the
higher?
waist. It's higher than the waist.
Higher than the waist,
Can we ask about it?
Yes.
No, to take hands like this?
Yes.
Can you take hands like this? Yes, and can you
Do I divide it again?
Is it on the right?
From your point of view.
From ours.
Yes and no. Can I draw your attention to something? Because I think we have to be rounding up. Now, you don't have many options left, so you will eventually guess what it is. It's a cufflink, something I thought about. So there is a cufflink here and a cufflink here. Now, the question is, I want to draw your attention to some of the mental inertia which you had. First, all your questions assumed that you see the object.
And you know already
And I
what
could
the
have
object
thought
is.
about the object you don't see, couldn't I?
Yes.
Another thing which you assumed, that the object is located in one place. What I could have done when answering your question is to move, for example, here. And you would continue looking for something within 1 meter. So these are all the things a good strategy should include when you ask questions. Another thing I want to draw your attention to, that although we agreed to keep to one parameter, you very often felt like asking about something else. Do you think if you had, it would have helped you? Even when we know that a certain strategy is good, somehow we still keep forgetting about the strategy and doing things in a different way. You can try to play at some later point and try to see if you can actually find an object in the room by keeping to a strategy and eliminating the number of questions and trying really to exclude 50%. Another thing, a very simple thing, how you can actually check your strategy is to play, this is something else I wanted to play with you, but we didn't have enough time, is to guess a town. That's something you can try to play with each other or somebody. A good strategy should exclude 50%, remember. Okay. Thank you.